long distance trips. Welcome you guys, welcome to the podcast in my indoor studio. Danny here. Today I'm gonna tell you why should you try from time to time going for some long rides, long trips. What should you do before, during and after the trip. And of course you've been asking me tons of questions about food and gear, so the bike and all the equipment you wanna use for a long trip. So as some of you who are subscribed to the channel know, my base phase, my endurance miles this season, I finished with 3 days trip. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Friday I did 185 miles. So over 300 kilometers. Then Saturday I was just cruising with my buddies for maybe 20 kilometers or 12 miles or so. And then Sunday back home. So once again 185 miles, 300 kilometers, over 300 kilometers back home. It was an amazing trip. And I felt good. I felt so good because I've been doing base miles zone 2 for many months right now, and I feel so well. And so I've got to tell you, I'm not trying to keep it long. I will try to keep it short, but there's lots of info. So if you're interested in such a thing, you want to make it. You want to also make it really good experience for you. Listen to that. First off, why should you try? Long distance rides on the bike are completely different than like your crit race or some training or doing workouts or interval session or just recovery ride for 1 hour or two. Spending a whole day on the bike is completely different experience. Do that, guys. Do it. Prepare for it. I'm going to tell you how, but try to do it. Also, you will see so many new places. Even just around your town, you're gonna explore so much, which is so good for us. We are doing all the same things every day, day in, day out. You're gonna see new stuff, you're gonna experience something new. Do that. It's very good for your health. It could also be dangerous if you do it in the wrong way. That's this podcast. And also, if you do it with other people, these will be the type of people who just want to do something. There is less and less people in our society who are wanting to do something. I'm not sure, is it correct to say less and less, but not many. And if you meet people who are just, let's go for 200 miles, why not? These are kind of half crazy people. You're gonna make many friends, and it gives you so much motivation in your life. So let's go into first part. This was the first part, but the first part about riding long distance tours. Before, what should you do before? So if you want to ride 100 miles or 150 kilometers, how many kilometers should you be doing on a daily basis or during your weekly trainings, and how many weeks or months before, so that you will be prepared for that distance? Good news, if you want to make 100 miles ride, you don't have to be training for 100 miles. It's rarely that you're gonna do the same amount of kilometers or miles that you're gonna be making during that event. So let's say 100 kilometers. We are keeping it down with the distance. So maybe 60 miles. You can do it with very little preparation. It will be hard for you after that 50% of the distance if you haven't prepared. If you've been riding, let's say 2 times a week for 10 miles or 20 miles or that 40 kilometers, you will do that 100 kilometers or 60 miles roughly. You will do that, because it's still the distance that your body will give that extra energy. Your butt will hurt, your back will hurt, your muscles will hurt, but you can do it. But with 200 kilometers or 100 and something miles, you cannot cheat, so you have to be training. So let's go back now to the distance I've made, which is over 300 kilometers or over 180 miles. If you want to go for such a long distance, which will take you a whole day, you need to be doing at least 3 to 5 hours training once a week. That's the main training you're gonna do, and also additional rides during the week. So let's say I want to make that 180 miles June the 1st. So we've got June. You should be doing some nice trainings in April. It's ideal if you do it right now, but if you do it in April 3 times a week, once a week, so one day in that week, one workout from these 3 should be long distance. Why so? You need endurance, that's for sure. Our body needs endurance. Our body needs to learn how to store more glycogen, how to manage the energy, how to digest food during a long ride, which is not that easy. So our body has to learn that, but also you will be testing everything. You will see after how many miles your back will hurt, which means you need to do some stretching, maybe some yoga, maybe some strengthening of your muscles. But also, if you just ride long hours, your body will adapt to that. Additional workouts like yoga, some maybe gym sessions would be okay, would be great. But if you just ride long hours, your body will adapt to that. So you need to do that. Once again, if you are shooting for, let's say, 200 miles, a long whole day trip, that one session in the week should be, I'm saying between 3 and 5 hours, but 5 hours would be ideal. So if you make half that distance once a week, it's good. And then additional trainings during the week, at least 2, so you've got 3 workouts in the week, will make your body adapt. You need to adapt to the position, but also you will be testing your bike, position on the bike, your saddle, extremely important, your saddle, and you will be testing the clothing, because if it's cold, you need to learn how to wear for the cold weather. When I was doing that 300 kilometers ride, Friday and Sunday, it was cold. It was minus 3 Celsius on Friday and about 0 up to 3 Celsius plus on Sunday. It was cold, so I needed to have some knowledge about what my body needs in terms of the clothing, so that I don't get cold. And so I needed very warm gloves. I had 2 pairs of warmers for my shoes. 2 pairs, so 2 warmers on each shoe. I had SPD pedals, but the shoes were also with the additional sole insulation, so thermal insulation inside. So that was something I tested. So long rides is not only for endurance, not only for your fitness, but also for your position on the bike, adapting to that and testing stuff. I got great saddle. I'm gonna talk about gear at the end, but it was the result of my testing, so it was great. All right. So if it's gonna be long ride, 300 kilometers for me was a whole day. I started after 6 a.m. and I finished 11 p.m. A whole day with all the food breaks and breaks for peeing and anything. A whole day on the bike, that's a lot. You need to be prepared for that. So 5 hours trainings was nothing for me. 5 hours, I could do 5 hours on Saturday, 5 hours on Sunday, and recover after that. Of course, not doing intervals during those, but just long rides, it was okay. So you need to feel that many hours in the saddle feel comfortable. You should feel comfortable. All right, so before you need to do that, you need to plan your track. Okay, so the track you're gonna follow, you need to plan that. It's great to use different software for bike computers so that you can plan it. You can upload it to your bike computer, and then bike computer will show you when to turn, and just you will just follow the track. An important thing, do not simply use Google Maps. Are you using Google Maps for cycling in cycling mode? It is cool. It was a base for my track, and it showed very nice lines and tracks. But in, I think, three places along the road, it pushed me just through the middle of nowhere, which meant I went through the mud. My drivetrain was full of mud. My bike was heavy, and I was riding like 6 kilometers an hour, which for that long day means a lot. It means you're gonna get much later home. You're gonna be riding in the dark. So Google Maps is good for the base, as a base for you, but then you need to see, are you riding tarmac, are you riding gravel, or sometimes just muddy places, as I was doing. So that's very important. And also during the ride, looking at the map and searching for the right turn, it takes a lot of time, guys. So if you are going to spend that whole day, you need to save your time with everything, and tracking is very important stuff. So I had on my Sigma the track, I could follow it, but still when I looked at the Google Maps in those 3 places, I really lost about an hour, which is a lot. It could be I could take a break for an hour, or maybe eat more, or drink more, or stop for pee or toilet. It is so important for such a long rides. So this is it. Before you eat, you want to have breakfast, and it's not gonna be the usual breakfast. Actually, you're gonna start the day before eating a little bit more carbohydrates. That's what people do. I eat more fat, and my wife is preparing some beautiful power bars, which are made of coconut oil. There's lots of coconut oil. There are seeds there, and there are some like cranberries. So there is also carbohydrate, but lots of fat. And during a long ride, you are using fat. So yes, we are, as cyclists, we are told carbs. You need fat, guys. That's something you need. So eat more day before, not too much. You don't want to feel full and heavy, just more. And then eat good breakfast, because for such a long day, it's gonna be 10,000 calories or more for you. It could be well over that. So eat well. Just fine breakfast. Do some vitamins. You need vitamins. So supplementing on that day could be crucial. Vitamins, important. And the last thing you want to do just before leaving home or place where you start is to stand on the scale and check your weight, your body weight, because you're gonna do that after the training, after this whole day, not to see, oh, I lost fat. No, you want to see how much you are dehydrated, and it is so important, because recovering from such a long ride when you are dehydrating yourself can take many days. And if you want to train, that will stop you from training for many days. It's difficult to get back when you are very dehydrated. So hop on the scale and check your weight. Now, second part, during, I can say drink, eat, pee, stretch, talk with people. Once again, drink, eat, pee, stretch, talk to people. All right? You need to drink more than you think. So you just sip, have at least 2 bottles on your bike and sip. In one bottle, I usually have water, plain water. You need that. You need plain water, because especially if you use power gels, after eating power gels, you want to consume water, plain water, not to dehydrate yourself, and to give your body water, which is crucial for digesting, breaking down what you've just eaten. So In one bottle I have water, in the other one I have some electrolytes, something also with additional energy. You're not going to be able to consume a lot of calories through some special powder that you put to the water, but it's still maybe it's going to be 1000 calories, 800 calories. It's always something. So 2 bottles, drink, eat, start eating early. After a good breakfast, when you start riding, probably you're not gonna feel hungry until 2 hours into the ride, but start eating earlier. Have something at hand. I'm gonna talk about bags. Have a bag, or just in your jersey. Have some bars, bananas, anything that gives you energy, because you're not gonna be able to cover the amount of calories you're gonna burn during such a long ride. It is very important, guys. Okay, so drink, eat a lot. You have to have it at hand. You cannot be stopping in order to grasp anything to eat. It's impossible, because if you want to stop for each time you put something in your mouth, it will take you 20 hours to do that 180 miles, or you're not gonna be stopping and you won't eat enough, and then you will just bonk after 6 hours of riding, or 5 hours of riding, or 3 hours of riding. So drink, eat, pee. If you don't pee, how often? That's a good question. But if you are, let's say, 3 hours into the ride, if you didn't pee yet, that means you are dehydrating, maybe dehydrating a lot. If you are 5 hours into the ride without peeing, that's very bad, very bad. So when you pee, that's also the sign for you that you have put enough water into your body. That's very important. And then stretch. When you get off the bike, stretch. Remember, you're gonna be spending lots of hours in same position on your bike, and you don't want your muscles to get those cramps, or just to get stiff. So stretch. When you go to the toilet, stretch. If you stop for peeing, stretch. You stopped for lunch, stretch. Super important. Stretch and take good breaths, and then talk to others. If you're riding with other people, talking with one another takes your attention from what you're doing. So maybe from some pain, maybe from just being tired. It's a great thing just to talk with others. Now, about pain, a couple of words about pain. You shouldn't be feeling much pain during such a long ride. It is very low intensity. If you feel pain in your butt, in your back, that means you haven't prepared well for the ride. So for me, I haven't felt any pain. I felt so great. I could just go like forever. It was so good. So that's important. And then check your track. It is so easy to lose the track. When you lose the track, you lose a lot of time. You feel stressed. You can get lost, and it's not very good. So you need to be looking at your bike computer. Having 2 is ideal. I had my Sigma on the handlebars, and I also had my phone on the handlebars. So a phone holder for your bike is very good thing. And so you need to be looking at it. If you know there is a turn coming in, let's say 300 meters or so, you want to be prepared for that. So focusing is very, very crucial. And if you don't drink enough and you start getting fatigued, thinking will become very difficult. Believe me that. So that should be just natural or automatic for you. Looking at the track. And then, of course, don't think too far ahead. So if you are doing 300 kilometers, you are 80 kilometers into it, and you felt that uphill in your legs, and you're thinking, wow, 220 left. Don't think about that. Just get to the summit of that hill, then go down and recover and feel fine. Look around, look at your track. Just enjoy that. Just, you want to take it bit by bit, the whole distance. In that way, you're not gonna be too stressed again. Mental preparation is so important for such a distances, especially if you're not like pro rider, like somebody who's training a lot, and it has to be, maybe it's like the first experience for you doing that 100 miles or 200 miles, then you really want to be mentally prepared. So don't look too far ahead, just look what's right now, the next tree, the next kilometer, and so. And if you take breaks, take short breaks, very short breaks. I don't know how many you will need. I didn't really make many. I stopped maybe 4 times or in order to pee. And then one longer break was 35 minutes for the lunch, for eating something solid or more, like bigger amount of food. And that's it. I felt great because I've been doing thousands of miles on my bikes already. So that's very important. And then after is extremely important, because maybe, as I was doing, you need to get back. Maybe you just did a loop and you're gonna get home, but you want to recover. First thing, hop on the scale, check your weight. If you are dehydrated, it's too late, but you are dehydrated, and it will be a very important lesson for you. You will be a little bit dehydrated. You should be lighter. Some people are able to eat so much food so that the weight will be the same. For me, it was roughly the same. I was a little bit lighter when I got home, because also on such a low intensity ride, it's much easier to eat and digest and think about drinking and eating. But check your body weight, and then you need carbohydrates, of course. You need proteins, because your muscles are worn. Your body will be rebuilding the muscles. Everything in your body will be rebuilding after such a long ride. So you need proteins. I don't know what's your source of proteins. Just remember about having those. In my opinion, these are more important than the sugar, right? Than the carbohydrate. I want my body to build again, even build better than it was before. And it's always easy to eat carbohydrates. So have the proteins, have the vitamins. Vitamins, that's probably, if you eat lots of different fruits, cranberries, whatever you've been eating also during the ride, maybe you've even covered the amount of vitamins you need, but supplements in that occasion are good. I'm not supplementing too much. Almost nothing, but I use my supplements. I have the Polish brand Olymp, which does it for me, and I do use supplements during my training camps, and also such rides like these, longer rides, I do supplement, because it's so difficult to eat the right amount of everything you need. Stretch. Drink. You should probably be just walking around with the bottle at hand. Just drink from time to time. Sleep is a great way of a recovery, and also breathing exercises are amazing. You need to breathe. You need to relax. You need you need to keep your body in that building state. Your parasympathetic nervous system should be like over the sympathetic one. Now we are rebuilding the body, we are recovering. Breathing exercises are great. Simply breathing, if you don't use or know any techniques, is just great fine, you want to relax. So that's what's very important after it. And finally, the gear. All right. So I've been riding whole day. It's winter time, which means it was 3 hours to 2.5 hours of darkness in the morning and 5 hours of darkness in the afternoon till the night, because it was so late when I came to the destination. So having good lights is important. You cannot run out of juice, of energy. I was using very good bike light, which is a professional light for such events. It was Sigma Buster 2000 with a special external. It's like power bank battery. You can use also it like a power bank, and it can go like forever. Which is great, but you just need to know how many hours your lights were light. I have always 2 rear lamps. I had Mactronic, and the other one was Bontrager Flare R City, which I also use during the day because it is blinking so that it's quite strong, so that the drivers see you. So 2 lights. When you see that one is blinking in different ways, sometimes there's an additional red LED light showing that it's low in energy. I replace those, and then I will charge the other one just in the back with my power bank. You need a power bank. I'm gonna link the stuff here below. I got a great power bank from Xiaomi. You can charge your bicycle light and the phone at the same time from that power bank, but you should always have something extra. So one power bank I had with the external battery of my Sigma Buster 2000, and the other one, actually I had 3, but 2 would be just enough for a long ride. Of course, I made sure I will be able to charge those at the place where I'm coming to, at the destination, right? So that I can come back with my power banks full of energy. The saddle is so crucial. The saddle should be very comfortable. Not meaning it should be wide and soft. It should be comfortable. No numbness, guys. You should feel no numbness. Man, you should feel no numbness. No pain after many hours of riding. That means you have the right saddle and you've been preparing yourself in the right amount of time. You've given your butt the right amount of time to choose the right saddle. My saddle is the Prologo Dimension. Probably forgot the model. It's in the link. Link is in the description. It's a great saddle for me. It's like a tree saddle, so a triathlon saddle, wider with the cutout, shorter, and the front area of the saddle goes down. It is so good for riding for many hours. So great. Then your drivetrain puts a little bit more of oil or lube on your chain. Depends on in what weather you are riding. If it's dry, then put a little bit more and clean it very well. If it's gonna be snowing and very wet, probably even keeping it just with the oil outside would be okay, because 200 miles, 300 kilometers, so much time on the bike can take your loop in the wet conditions away. But probably you're not gonna, you don't want to ride that long in the rain. But anyway, whether it's dry or wet, put a little more oil on the chain. It's a quite distance, guys. All right. Then the underwear. Underwear is super important. I had underwear from Sportful. It's not an ad. It's not a product placement. I had the one from Sportful, super light underwear, and I felt just light. My skin was dry. When I got home, I said to my wife, "You see, my skin is dry." Even that underwear was dry on the inside, but on the outer side, the jacket I had over was wet. So that was very good. You don't want to be wet. You want to keep your body dry. It will be so much better for you. you're just not gonna lose energy and not get cold. On such a long ride, let's say if you get lost, it's super important not to get cold. And finally, the bags. The lower, the better, and the easier access, the better. So if your bags are lower on the bike, that's the lower center of gravity. It's easier to maneuver with the bike. If you have the one that's now so popular, especially on the gravel bikes, that you mount on the seat post, I had that one on the long ride. Don't put too much stuff there, because when you get off the saddle, when you're standing on the bike and swinging with the bike, it will be so difficult. It won't feel natural. It won't be good. So those bags that you mount on the seat post, which are soft, tend to swing. And having a special stuff for your bags here at the rear of the bike is good. Low riders on the fork are great. You're gonna be riding about 20 kilometers an hour, so at that speed, aerodynamics is not that important. So those low riders on the sides of your forks are cool. Such a bag on the top tube of your bike is a great thing, but make sure it's not too wide. This one, I didn't take this one with me. It was too wide, and when I was getting off the saddle, standing on the pedals, I would hit it with my knees, which is very annoying, and so I didn't use this one. But on my last long trip, I took smaller one, thinner one from Shimano Pro, and it was much better. You want to have something here, maybe on the top tube or just under the top tube. I had both, I think, because that's where you have your power bank. You need to have power bank with the cable for your stuff on the handlebars, and that's when you keep your food. You want to grasp the food, put it in your mouth, chew and ride, and you're gonna be doing little by little. Maybe you will have some raisins here, maybe the sandwiches are cool. And remember, don't ride on the power gels only, because after 4 hours of eating power gels, you will feel so sweet, your stomach will feel bad, and it can just make you stop and not finish that trip. It's not even a race. But sandwich, cool. You will be really dreaming on some non-sugary food during such a ride. Very important thought. And that's it. The more you have at hand, the less time you waste. This is also the bag that you put on the handlebars here in the front. When you mount it on the bike, make sure it's not in the way of your shifters. These are little things, but you don't want to discover those during the ride. Sometimes when you do it wrong, you can shift and it will just stay there because it will be the bag will be on the way. So you don't want to do that. Make sure it's not too wide, pack it well, and just have as many things as you can at hand. Finally, what bike? Endurance road bike, if you're riding on a fine tarmac, is great because it is strong enough. It should be also stable enough to take some luggage, no problem. But gravel bike, cyclocross bike will be ideal. Gravel bike is ideal, cyclocross bike will be fine. Why? Gravel bike will give you will have the better geometry for long distance, more comfy, and it will be more stable. Cyclocross bike must be fast. This is racing bike. Cyclocross bike is a racing bike. Even, you see, I have a carbon Mission CX and an alloy Mission CX. So if you buy the cyclocross, which is entry level, it's still a cyclocross bike. Cyclocross, that's the race, which means it has to be very nimble. and it will be more difficult for you to steer the bike when you don't have your hands on the handlebars. Believe me, you will be doing that during a long ride, because sometimes you need to take something from the pocket or so. Don't do that, guys. I don't recommend that. You will be doing that. I'll do it a lot. It's much easier on the gravel bike than on the cyclocross bike. So gravel bike is made for that. The roads I've been riding through sometimes had bad tarmac. That's why road bike wouldn't make it at all. And also when I got lost and went through the land somewhere on the farmer's land through the mud, it was great to have my cyclocross bike with these tires. Gravel bike would also make it. Tires for the gravel bike are also bigger, so you have a little bit more comfort. Carbon or alloy does not matter. Guys, I did many great trips on $120 mountain bikes on Shimano Tourney with plastic brakes, and it was a great experience for me. But we are talking about ideal situations, so I think gravel bike, of course, touring bike, of course, but gravel bike is very cool for that. Really cool bikes, gravel bikes. I did trip in August last year on the Silex, Merida Silex, and it's a great, super stiff, very stable gravel bike. With the lowriders, it felt so good, and I had this on the back. So that's it. SPD or not SPD, I think for such a ride, platform pedals would be good, and if it's really cold, platform pedals and non-SPD shoes will be warmer also. So think about that. I was riding SPDs, and I was just on the edge of feeling cold. I mean, my feet were cold. They were not frozen, but it was like on the edge of freezing. So this was the only non-enjoyable part of my trip, and that's it, guys. It wasn't a short one, but for such a long ride you need to be prepared, and I just wanted to share with you my experience. You've asked me whether I will publish the whole thing. I did. I have the footage. I have it on my Polish channel. I think I will cut some edit some material for you as well, but this was a special episode for you to know how to prepare for that. So ride regularly. If you ride once a week, up to 60% or 70% of the distance you want to do, you will make it. You will finally make it, and 8 weeks of preparation for a long ride should be enough if you're not in bad shape today. If you're just in normal shape, 8 weeks are enough. That's it. Questions just below, guys. Cheers, and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.